So I found this post on the internet that perfectly encapsulates insurance agents who push these crap annuity products on the public. And this consumer is talking about how insurance salesmen get really angry if you know what you're talking about and you ask them pointed questions. And you can pause the video if you like. But if you've been following my videos and read all the comments I get from angry insurance salesmen, you know exactly what this guy's talking about. So we're going to have some fun, and I'm going to show you some actual posts from commission-hungry advisors and the lies or deception that they use in order to puff up annuities. Now, first of all, I already covered this in my last video. If all you need to do is earn low-risk, boring, mediocre returns, you don't put 100% of your money in stocks. With history as our guide, you would only put about 28% in stocks and 72% in bonds, something like that, in low-cost index funds. Buy, hold, and rebalance. Very simple. And as you can see, even during the Great Recession of the 2000s, even if you were in retirement taking out 4% per year pegged to inflation, you never ran out of money and your nest egg grew. Yet here's one insurance salesman talking about losing 37% in 2008. He's deceptively talking about 100% in stocks. And it's funny because actually a 28-72 mix went up 4% in 2008. Here's another clown talking about investors still recovering from 2002 and 2008. Again, he's completely ignoring diversification into bonds. And ironically, this guy claims that he educates his clients with facts. No, you don't. You compare apples to oranges. You try to scare people in order to sell them your mediocre annuity products. Here's another guy talking about why people in their 60s and 80s had to go back to work at McDonald's without explaining why they had to go back to work after they retired. Hello! They failed to diversify into bonds. And this guy has the nerve to accuse me of pandering to people's fears. And then he just babbles on about how investing 100% in stocks is risky, and therefore people should dump their money into expensive, mediocre insurance products. Hey, buddy, look at this chart. You are full of crap. Or sometimes these guys just imply that the free markets are risky by saying something like, "I'm selling protection." Protection from what? Protection from market volatility that has never existed. Here's another guy saying, annuities are not investments because you cannot lose money. Again, this clown is comparing low-risk, mediocre annuities to 100% stocks, apples to oranges. Here's another guy using the same sales gimmick. Income that you cannot outlive. Again, he's presenting a false choice. He's assuming that someone is investing heavily in stocks during a market crash. By the way, if you think that once you annuitize your contract, or if you invest in a SPIA or immediate annuity, that this is somehow some magic pill that you won't be living in poverty if you live long enough, you had better watch this video because you are going to be in for a surprise. Anyway, so I saved the best for last because this guy literally regurgitated about 10 insurance industry deceptions in one single post. And by the way, he called me an agent provocateur and accused me of spreading fear, confusion, and made-up facts. But anyway, right off the bat, he says, your premise that all annuities have fees is a flat-out lie. Well, Mr. Insurance Salesman, your premise that some annuities don't have fees is a deceptive shell game. If an annuity doesn't have outwardly fees, then they simply make up for it with other things like lower performance caps, lower participation rates, lower income payment calculations. For someone to imply that some annuities are free or cost you nothing is a lie. So here he goes with the old income for life without ever losing a penny, implying that bonds and stocks are risky. So then he uses a psychological ploy to gain your trust by pretending to be a critic of annuities. If he bashes variable annuities, then maybe you will think that he's looking out for your best interests. You see this a lot on websites like MarketWatch. They'll have an article that seems to be very critical of, index annuities or agents who sell index annuities. But then at the end of the article, they're still trying to sell you some other annuity. And they'll use buzzwords like solve, an annuity solves the problem of income during retirement. Again, the word solve implies that generating income with stocks and bonds is somehow unsolved. That's nonsense. And it's not surprising that these articles are written by none other than insurance salesmen. But back to this guy's YouTube rant. His next argument is a false choice. He's comparing dumping money into an annuity to going to an asset manager and paying them 1 or 2% per year. Nobody should ever do that. You don't need an asset manager to hold your hand while you buy, hold, and rebalance a couple of index funds. That would be a waste of money. And again, he's accusing me of being a broker or someone in the financial services industry, which I am not. I simply post these videos to help people avoid getting ripped off. Then he goes on to say, I'm a certified financial professional, which of course, certifications are fine and dandy, but number one, certifications don't tell you if an advisor has fiduciary duty to you or not. Number two, even some fiduciaries are merely fee-based advisors, and therefore they have the legal right to sell you financial products like annuities that pay lavish backdoor commissions. And so how can you really know if they're really recommending it because it's good for you or good for them? Also, there's hybrid advisors and dually licensed advisors who could say one thing and do another. So just because someone has some certification doesn't tell you if they can be trusted or not. So then he pulls the old, fixed annuities are not meant to be compared to securities. And this is the convenient way that insurance salesmen try to eliminate the competition. It'd be like saying Jamarcus Russell should never be compared to good quarterbacks. That's not fair, that's disingenuous, that's fraudulent. So then he goes on, what are you telling your clients? Again, I don't have any clients. What are you telling your clients when they lose their shirts in periods of, let's say 2001 to 2002, 2007 to 2008? Hey buddy, here's that chart again. So then he goes on to talk about this fatally flawed study on index annuities, which is the biggest sham. I posted links below this video. You can read about it in greater detail. But first of all, he cherry-picked this study. There's other studies which debunk annuities. There's one recent study that found that the average index annuity only returned 3.27% from 2007 to 2012. And as it turns out, this Wharton School study that he's talking about was written by people who are connected to the insurance industry. I mean, it'd be kind of like if O.J. Simpson got to pick who investigated the murder of his ex-wife, and he chose his mom, A.C. Cowlings, and Johnny Cochran. That's this study. So then this guy goes on to contradict himself. He says comparing fixed annuities to securities is completely misleading, should never be used as a comparison. Hello? That's exactly what you did. And of course, you're going to compare options. Before you put your money to work, you want to find the best return you can get for your desired level of risk, not the worst return. Anyway, I think we've read just about enough, and I can't wait for the first insurance salesman to post a stupid response to this video. It's always entertaining.